What if everything you've dismissed as chance was never random at all? What if the universe has been whispering to you louder and louder and you just weren't listening? Look closer, because those whispers have teeth. From the moment you open your eyes each morning, reality begins to speak. But it does not speak in words. It speaks in moments, a song playing at the precise second you think of someone long lost, a number following you like a shadow, a stranger appearing with the exact answer you didn't know you were looking for. You've been taught to brush these things aside, to shrug them off as coincidence, but deep down, a quiet part of you has always known better. And you're right. These are not accidents. These are messages, patterns embedded into the very fabric of existence, nudging you, again and again, towards something bigger. For thousands of years, ancient civilizations knew this. Mystics and philosophers devoted their lives to decoding these signs. But modern society has a different name for them: chance, luck, randomness. That is no mistake. The system does not want you to see what is hiding in plain sight, because these moments are cracks in the illusion. Proof that the world you've been told to believe in, rigid, mechanical, indifferent, is anything but. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain and step into that hidden world, the one that has been waiting for you all along, waiting for you to remember how to listen. From the day you were born, you were taught to believe in a world that made sense only through logic, a world where every cause had an effect, every mystery could be solved, and everything that did not fit neatly into that box was simply your imagination. You learned to trust only what you could see, touch, measure, and to ignore everything else. But it wasn't always this way. Think back, if you can, to when you were a child. Back then, you could feel things before they happened. You sensed when someone was thinking about you, even before the phone rang. You noticed how certain events lined up too perfectly to be chance. And when you tried to share these feelings, what were you told? It's just your imagination. Over time, those words chipped away at your knowing. You learned to suppress your intuition, to silence that inner voice, and to believe that the world was just a machine made of lifeless parts, running on random collisions of matter. Slowly but surely, you stopped paying attention, and this wasn't an accident. Education itself became the instrument of your blindness. Schools didn't teach you how to feel the quiet hum of energy in a room, or how to notice the way your path seemed to curve and weave with hidden meaning. Instead, you were taught to memorize, obey, and conform. Creativity, imagination, and the abstract were stripped away and replaced with hard facts and cold data. If it couldn't be weighed, measured, or proven, it wasn't real. Questioning this rigid model wasn't just discouraged, it was ridiculed. The world you were conditioned to trust left no room for the possibility that you might already be part of something far more intelligent, something alive and awake. And so, you learned to look outward for truth. Science, not the bold, curious science of pioneers, but the rigid, materialist version became the final word. And under its doctrine, synchronicities were reduced to nothing more than quirks of the mind. You saw the number 1111 on the clock again and again. Just confirmation bias. They told you. You stumbled into the right person at the right moment, pure luck. The system stripped these moments of meaning and left you believing they were nothing more than random noise in a chaotic universe. But what they never told you was this. Some of the greatest minds who ever lived, Carl Jung, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, all understood what you were forced to forget. They knew reality was not random. They recognized the hidden patterns, the clues scattered through life like breadcrumbs, guiding those who dared to follow. They spoke of synchronicities as cracks in the illusion, proof that this world is anything but indifferent. And yet, speak of these things openly today, and you're labeled a dreamer, superstitious, irrational. Why? Because nothing is more dangerous to the system than someone who notices. The moment you begin to see synchronicities for what they really are, not random, but deliberate, you awaken to something profound. You are not alone in this. You are not adrift in chaos. You are connected to a larger, unseen intelligence that has been guiding you all along. And once you glimpse that connection, once you see the patterns for what they truly are, you can never go back. Look around you. The world you were raised in is a masterpiece of control. A carefully designed machine that keeps you focused outward, distracted, and deaf to the quiet signals beneath the surface. You were taught to believe this was normal, that your mind was nothing more than a calculator, and your life nothing more than a series of accidents strung together by luck. But what if that belief that blindness was intentional? From your earliest years, the system made sure to dim the part of you that noticed, the part that felt. When you were a child, you were in tune with patterns, energy, and intuition. You saw connections where others saw chaos. You noticed how events lined up, how timing seemed almost magical, how the world sometimes bent to your emotions. You could feel when someone you loved was thinking of you, even from miles away. But each time you voiced these feelings, you were told to stop. Stop imagining things. Stop believing in magic. Stop noticing. Instead, you were told to trust what you could measure, memorize what you were taught, and obey what you were told. And so, you did. In schools, you sat in rows and learned to ignore your inner knowing. You memorized facts without questioning. You repeated what the teacher said. And you didn't dare challenge what was written in the book. The more you questioned, the more they pressed you to conform. Creativity and intuition were treated like weaknesses. Logic and obedience were praised. The truth is, this education didn't just forget to teach you how to listen to the deeper rhythms of reality. It actively taught you to ignore them. It trained you to believe in a world that was purely physical, a dead machine. But here's what they never told you. That version of science, the one you were fed, was not the whole story. You were taught to worship a gatekeeper of truth that had long stopped being curious. Not real science, the kind that explores the unknown, but a rigid, materialist dogma that crushed wonder under the weight of cold data. This version of reality told you that everything was random, meaningless, that seeing repeating numbers or meeting the right person at the right moment was nothing but your brain playing tricks, that your noticing was just a flaw. But the greatest minds, Jung, Tesla, Einstein knew better. They knew that reality is not indifferent, that synchronicities are not accidents, but evidence. Evidence of a deeper intelligence at work. Evidence that we are part of something vast and alive. And yet, society mocks those who dare to take these signs seriously. Talk openly about synchronicities, and you'll be labeled irrational. Notice the patterns too much, and you're dismissed as a dreamer. This is not an accident. It is social conditioning. Because once you start paying attention, once you start trusting what you feel, you become dangerous. You stop following the script. You begin to see the strings that pull at everyone else. You begin to see the illusion crack. And you begin to remember what you've always known, that you are connected to something much greater than yourself. That the universe is not what you've been told it is. It is not random. It is alive, and it has been speaking to you all along, if only you'd listen. At some point in your life, you felt at a moment so perfectly timed it stole your breath. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and the phone rings with their name on the screen. You open a book to a random page, and the words staring back at you answer the exact question that's been haunting you. Or perhaps you keep seeing the same sequence of numbers over and over, as if reality itself is leaving you a breadcrumb trail. These are not accidents. They never were. These moments, these synchronicities are messages, and the more you notice them, the more they appear. Here is the secret no one ever told you. Synchronicities are not just coincidences. They are deliberate signals from a deeper intelligence, a force that has been quietly guiding you your entire life. The universe is not random. It is an intricate web of energy, connection, and consciousness. Every thought you think, every intention you set, every emotion you feel sends out a frequency, like a ripple across water. And synchronicities are the ripples that come back. They are the universe answering you. Carl Jung, who first named these meaningful coincidences, synchronicities, understood what most refuse to see. He saw these events for what they were: cracks in the illusion of randomness, glimpses of the deeper order, an order that ancient traditions have always known. In the East, they called it karma. Mystics called it divine timing. Today, physicists whisper about it as non-locality, the notion that everything in the universe is entangled, beyond time and space. But the mainstream pretends not to see. They tell you it's chance, an illusion, a flaw in your brain's wiring, and yet nature itself is built on patterns so perfect they defy belief. Fractal designs that repeat from the smallest leaf to the largest galaxy. Planetary orbits that hum with symmetry. Even your DNA is encoded with repeating sequences of hidden intelligence. Why would human experience, your experience, be any different? Why wouldn't your emotions, thoughts, and choices also move within an invisible structure? They do. Synchronicities are the fingerprints of that hidden design. They are the moments when the matrix falters and shows you its seams, when the deeper order of the universe peeks through and reminds you that you're not drifting alone. But then comes the question, who is sending these messages? Some believe synchronicities come from your higher self, the version of you that already knows where you need to go. Others say they come from the collective unconscious, that vast, shared ocean of thought and memory that Jung spoke of. And still others believe these are signals from something beyond us entirely: God, the universe, source, even a simulation trying to reach its players. What you call it doesn't matter. What matters is this: these messages are real. They are invitations to wake up, to stop sleepwalking through life, to step off the treadmill of randomness and into awareness. Because once you notice them, the spell of randomness shatters, and you begin to see what's always been there: the patterns in the chaos, the whisper beneath the noise, the meaning hidden in the moment. If synchronicities are messages, then how do they work? What is happening beneath the surface that allows these impossible alignments to unfold so precisely, as if reality itself is conspiring in your favor? The truth is more extraordinary than you've been led to believe. At the heart of synchronicity lies a simple but astonishing principle. Your mind is not just a passive observer of reality, it is an active participant in shaping it. Modern neuroscience has shown us the first layer of this truth. Inside your brain is a tiny network called the Reticular Activating System, RAS, which filters reality based on what you focus on. Have you ever bought a car, and suddenly you see that exact model everywhere you go? Those cars didn't magically multiply overnight. Your RAS simply started letting you notice what had always been there. Synchronicities work the same way at first. Once you start paying attention, once you start believing in them, your mind tunes itself to that frequency and begins to see what it had been blind to all along. But this is only the beginning, because reality does not just change because of what you notice. Reality itself changes when you notice it. Quantum physics, long dismissed as too strange to be true, has shown us that observation influences matter at the most fundamental level. The famous double-slit experiment revealed that the simple act of watching changes how particles behave. This means that reality is not a fixed structure. It is a living field, pliable, responsive, and you are a participant in its unfolding. But why does it respond the way it does? Because everything is vibration. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, all of them emit a frequency. And those frequencies ripple outward into the field of reality, shaping what comes back to you. If you are steeped in fear, doubt, and scarcity, you vibrate at a low frequency. You attract more of the same. You see only struggle, only noise, only coincidence. But when you shift into gratitude, trust, and curiosity, your vibration rises. Reality mirrors it back. The patterns emerge, the signs multiply. This is why people who awaken to synchronicities begin to see them everywhere. Their energy has changed, and reality responds. But here's what makes this even more profound. Your subconscious mind plays an enormous role in this dance. While your conscious mind frets over your to-do list and your petty worries, your subconscious is busy weaving connections, noticing hidden patterns, quietly rearranging the pieces of your life. When you set an intention, even unconsciously, your subconscious begins to guide you toward it, aligning events and encounters in ways your rational mind could never plan. Skeptics will say it's just selective attention. They'll say you're imagining patterns where there are none. But if that were true, why do these moments arrive with such uncanny precision? Why do they so often carry deep personal meaning, arriving at the exact moment you need them most? Because they are not random. They are the conversation between your conscious desires, your subconscious guidance, and the intelligence of the universe itself. The key is to stop fighting the flow and start working with it. Because once you learn how to align yourself intentionally, synchronicities don't just appear more often. They become a tool, a bridge, a way to bend reality into something that finally feels like yours. If synchronicities are happening all the time, then why do some people seem to live surrounded by them, while others walk through life blind to their presence? Why do some effortlessly follow these hidden patterns, while others feel trapped in a world of randomness and noise? The answer is simpler than you think. It comes down to three things: awareness, alignment, and belief. Most people spend their lives disconnected. They move through each day locked in doubt, clinging to logic, conditioned to believe that life is nothing more than a series of mechanical events. They've been taught to see luck as random, to dismiss meaning as superstition, to treat the universe as indifferent. This mindset becomes a prison. It's like being in a pitch-black room filled with invisible radio waves, thousands of stations all around you, playing beautiful, intricate melodies. But without a radio tuned to the right frequency, you hear nothing but silence. Synchronicities are the same. If your mind is not tuned into the right frequency, you will never hear the signal. Now compare that to those who live in tune with synchronicity. These people are not special. They have simply trained their minds to listen. When they notice strange alignments, they don't dismiss them, they trust them. When their intuition whispers, they follow it. When a pattern appears, they pay attention. And the fascinating thing is, the more you notice synchronicities, the more they happen. This is not magic, it is psychology and energy at work. Your subconscious mind is a vast and powerful engine, constantly scanning the world for connections your conscious mind cannot see. When you decide that synchronicities matter, when you tell your subconscious to find them, it begins to filter reality differently. You've seen this before when you decide to buy a certain car, and suddenly that car seems to appear everywhere. But with synchronicities, The effect goes much deeper. Your subconscious begins quietly aligning opportunities, guiding you toward paths you might have missed, pulling hidden threads until the impossible becomes inevitable. This is the subconscious connection. But that's only half the story. The other half lies in the law of vibration. When you're trapped in fear, doubt, and negativity, your energy contracts, your awareness narrows. You become stuck in survival mode, blind to the patterns all around you. But when you raise your vibration through gratitude, curiosity, mindfulness, your energy expands, your awareness sharpens. The synchronicities begin to flow because your consciousness has shifted into alignment with the hidden rhythm of the universe. This is why people who meditate, reflect, and trust often report uncanny luck. They are tuned in, vibrating on a frequency where the signs can reach them. And there is one more piece, perhaps the most important of all: trust. Those who experience the most synchronicities are not simply noticing the signs, they are acting on them. When they see a door open, they walk through it. When they feel the pull, they follow it. But most people fail here. They see the signs, they feel the nudge, but they hesitate, they question, they second guess, they wait for more proof, and in doing so, they weaken the connection. Because synchronicities are not just messages, they are invitations, and the universe rewards those who say yes. The more you notice, trust, and act, the stronger the signal becomes. The more you hesitate, the quieter it grows. In the end, the choice is yours to keep drifting through the illusion of randomness or to wake up, tune in, and step fully into the dance that has been waiting for you all along. The signs are already here. They've always been here, scattered across your path like breadcrumbs waiting to be noticed. But most people don't see them, not because they aren't there, but because they've forgotten how to look. Once you understand how to recognize these patterns and decode their meaning, it becomes impossible not to see them. Reality begins to shimmer with hidden meaning, as though it has been speaking to you in a secret language all along. And that language takes many forms. The first and most common is numbers repeating patterns that appear again and again. 1111 on a clock, 222 on a license plate, 333 on a receipt. These sequences are not accidents. Numbers carry their own vibrational signatures. And when they start showing up in your life, it is a sign that something is shifting in your reality. Ancient mystics understood this. To them, numbers were not just symbols, but the very blueprint of creation. When you see them, stop. Notice what you were thinking or feeling in that moment. What question was lingering in your mind, because these numbers often arrive to answer a question you haven't yet spoken aloud. The second form is symbols, encounters with objects, animals, or words that carry personal significance. Perhaps you hear the same song twice in a single day, the lyrics answering something deep within you. Perhaps you overhear a phrase repeated by two strangers hours apart. Perhaps an animal crosses your path, one you've rarely seen before, and you feel its presence means something. It does. Symbols appear when you need them most, often subtle but always meaningful if you choose to trust what you feel when you see them. And then there are the rarest and most powerful of all meaningful coincidences. These are the moments when events align so perfectly it feels as though the entire universe conspired to make it happen. You're on the verge of giving up, and suddenly an opportunity appears out of nowhere. You meet the exact person you needed to meet at the exact right time. These are not just happy accidents. These are invitations, guiding you to step forward. But recognizing the signs is only half the work. To truly hear them, you must also learn to ask the right questions. When something strange happens, when the pattern appears, pause and reflect. What was I thinking or feeling before this? What decision am I struggling with right now? Does this confirm or challenge something? I've been wondering. Has this happened before? Is there a deeper pattern here? One of the most powerful tools you can use is what some call a synchronicity journal. Write down every time something unusual, meaningful, or perfectly timed happens. Over weeks and months, patterns emerge, symbols repeat, messages become clearer. You begin to see not just isolated moments, but a story unfolding, one that has been speaking to you all along. But here is the secret. Recognizing synchronicities is only the first step. The real transformation happens when you act, because when you see a sign, when you feel the pull and you choose to move instead of waiting, everything begins to shift. Those who live in flow with synchronicities don't just notice the signs, they respond to them. They follow where they lead, and the universe rewards their trust by sending even more. Noticing the signs is powerful, but learning how to work with them, how to turn synchronicities into a tool for shaping your reality, is where everything changes. Most people treat synchronicities like shooting stars, beautiful, rare, and fleeting. They marvel for a moment, and then go back to sleep. But these moments are not meant to be admired passively. They are invitations. They are doorways. They are proof that the universe is already conspiring with you if only you would act. The people who live in a state of effortless flow, guided by synchronicities, understand something the rest of the world has forgotten. They are not merely recipients of these signs, but co-creators of them. How? Through 3 key steps: intention, alignment, and action. It begins with intention. Reality responds to focus. The clearer your thoughts and desires, the louder the signs become. If you want guidance, ask for it directly. Whisper your question to the universe. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Show me the next step. Reveal if I am on the right path. Bring me the people and opportunities I need to grow, and then let go of how the answer will come. The universe doesn't speak in straight lines. It speaks in symbols, encounters, and perfectly timed events. Next comes alignment. Synchronicities reflect your state of being. When you vibrate with doubt, fear, and resistance, you block the flow. When you shift into trust, gratitude, and curiosity, you unlock it. This is why synchronicities spike during moments of transition, when you're stepping into unknown but aligned territory. When you open yourself to possibility, your energy rises and the patterns begin to accelerate. Raise your vibration deliberately, through meditation, through stillness, through gratitude, through imagining vividly the life you want to step into. And finally, and most importantly, action. This is where most falter. They see the sign, they feel the pull, but they hesitate. They wait for confirmation. They doubt, and the signal fades. Because synchronicities are not meant to entertain you. They are catalysts. When the same number, phrase, or symbol keeps appearing, it is not random, it is a nudge. When you feel drawn toward a new path, person, or possibility, it is not a coincidence, it is an open door. But the door won't open itself. You must walk through it. And here's the magic: the more you act, the more the signs multiply. Every time you trust, the universe whispers louder. Every time you follow, reality rearranges itself in your favor. Those who live fully in flow with synchronicity are not lucky, they are participants. They are co-creators. They move with the rhythm instead of fighting it. For them, opportunities, connections, and perfect timing are not miracles. They are normal. And for you, they can be too. Because the question is no longer whether the universe is speaking to you. It is, are you ready to listen and answer? Now you stand at the threshold. You've seen the signs. You've felt the alignments. You've tasted what it feels like to walk through a world alive with meaning, where every moment glimmers with hidden guidance. But here's the truth: most people never step through the door. They hear everything you've just heard, and they return to their routines. They notice a synchronicity, feel a flicker of wonder, then dismiss it as chance. They receive a sign so clear it makes their chest tighten, but they hesitate, overthink, and let it pass. They go back to sleep because they're waiting for more proof, waiting for certainty, waiting for the path to light up like a runway before they take the first step. But certainty never comes before action. It only comes after. You were trained to ignore the signs, to explain them away, to doubt the intelligence that has been guiding you all along. But now you know better. Now you've seen behind the curtain. Now you understand what reality truly is: intelligent, alive, responsive, and that you are not just a passenger, but a co-creator. So what will you do with this knowledge? Because every synchronicity you encounter is not just a message. It is an invitation to trust what you feel, an invitation to act when the door opens, an invitation to move into alignment, to live in connection, to stop drifting through life as though you have no say in how it unfolds. The signs will keep coming, but if you ignore them, they will fade. The whispers will quiet, and you'll find yourself back in the noise, surrounded by randomness that you know is just an illusion. But if you listen, truly listen, if you trust what you see and act on it, the signs will multiply, reality will bend, and life will begin to feel effortless. Because the people who seem blessed, who seem guided, who live lives of perfect timing and impossible luck, they are not lucky. They are paying attention. They are listening. They are walking through the doors that open for them, over and over again. And the universe responds, because it always does. So here is the final invitation. Stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop dismissing what you already know in your bones. The signs are here. The door's open. Step through it, because the moment you do, you'll realize synchronicities are not rare at all. They are everywhere, waiting for you to wake up and finally see.